Cast me to Bermuda. It's time for the Mad Merlins review of Warhammer Underworlds Wyrdhollow Skabbiks Plaguepack by Games Workshop. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Warhammer Underworlds unboxing. So today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Stinky Plague Boys Skabbiks Plaguepack for Wyrdhollow. I think this is, if it's not the last, it's second to last expansion for Wyrdhollow, as we have the new starter set coming out very soon. Not too keen on it. It's Idnef versus Slanesh, so yeah, not exactly two warbands I'm in any hurry to get, but that is saving for, we'll save that for another video, I think. So before we get into Skabbiks Plaguepack, let's do the usual. So don't forget to, of course, like this video if you are enjoying the content, and if you are, please do think about subscribing to the channel, as it helps me out, as does dropping a comment down below. It lets the algorithm know this video has been watched and you support all my mad content. Let me know if you'd like to see any more Underworld stuff. I'm planning to possibly do a little Get Started series using the current starter set with the Fast Riders versus the Sepulchral Guard. Two warbands that I have had previously but have since sold, so I'm looking forward to getting them again. And finally, the last thing you can do is you can check all the links in the description down below, including the Mad Merlins Patreon, where I will soon be starting to upload content exclusively for subscribers. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff coming in the next few months, if not definitely ready for next year. So let's take a look then at the Skabbiks Plaguepack, and here we see Skabbik at the front centre there, and his little plague pack, including a little pox rat there with a chunk of warpstone. So yeah, they're all easy to build models. You don't need glue, they just peg together. You have different decks. You can open, shuffle and play straight out, or you can get other expansions and use different decks and card sets as explained here. So on the back we've got our little bit of background. So the diseased Skaven of Skabbiks Plaguepack scurry through the caves of Wyrdhollow on the hunt for the ingredients to brew a great plague. So the contents of the box, we get 6 fighters, 6 fighter cards, 32 Plaguepack Rivals deck consisting of 12 objectives, 10 gambits and 10 upgrades. And we see Skabbik himself, fully built and painted. He looks fantastic. It's been far too long since we've had updated Plague models. They look fantastic. The most up-to-date one, I think, was the Plague Priest on the Plague Furnace when the Screaming Bell kit came out. But here we have a lovely Plague Priest, Plague Censer Bearer, a Bringer of the Word, and 2 Plague Monks, plus our little ratty companion. And then we have the side, there's the bottom, and yeah, right, let's go vertical and we'll take a look at the internal contents. So just bring my knife in, and we got one little plastic tab to cut just up there, and we can open the box and pull out our all cardboard tray. So inside we get 2 frames of beautiful models. Take a closer look at those shortly. We get our Rivals deck, plus a little bit of information there, and the reverse, I believe, has a deck list and a few rules. And finally, we have the instructions. So again, we'll look at that in a little more detail. So we'll take a look at the frames first, the instructions, and then we'll run through the cards of the deck. So here we have the first frame, and it includes a lot of the Plague Monk characters. So we got Plague Monk with twin knives here. We got the Bringer of the Word with his book and a fuming censer. And we have the Plague Monk with the staff there as well. And we got a Pox Rat, who is actually a pretty chunky model. He is really cool. Nice characterful little rat. I love the Skaven frames. They always have little characterful rats to add to units. Fantastic models. So much detail. We've got the tattered robes. We've got the books there. The pestilent tomes, boils and pock markings as well. Fantastic, lovely, perfect, diseased, filthy, crazy monks. And on the other frame then, we have Skabbik himself, plus our Plague Censer Bearer, and he looks fantastic. If they do more like this for a brand new wave of Skaven, I will be very, very happy. Definitely, the Pestilens collection has always been some of my favourite models, but they are of the older generation Skaven. They don't have the finesse detail and sharp edges that the newer stuff from 2009 and 2013 have. And even this newer stuff from Age of Sigmar is a lot better than what we did have back in the day. The old chunky monkey rats, as they used to be called, because they looked more like monkeys than rats. But yeah, these are fantastic models. Really looking forward to painting these. I just need to decide what colour scheme I'm going to do them, whether I'll do them sort of cover box art style, or if I'll do them in one of my custom Plague clans. I have a few Plague Monk paint schemes that I've been planning and working on ever since Age of Sigmar first came out, because I've been holding out hope that we will get new models, and this definitely reinvigorates that hope. So yeah, definitely hope we get to see more of these guys in future sets. So let's take a look then at the instructions. So these are all easy build models, so you just need to cut out and push together. But each one is made up of a few components. We have the first Plague Monk here with the twin knives. We just have his waist detail to add in over his legs and then plug in his head. Then our Plague Monk with the staff and Plague Knife. Just plug the staff arm on and then plug in the head, and he is done. Then we got our Bringer of the Word, so we just got to put in his arms supporting the Plague Censer and the book, as well as his front of his cloak there. Plug the Plague Censer and book in place, plug his head in and push him down to his base, and he is done. Then our Plague Censer Bearer, so we got to push the front of his body on, push the back of his body on as well with his legs and his skirt. I'm reading instructions wrong. I'm used to them going that way. He's going down. Okay. So yeah, this one then is Skabbik. Just push the front of him on in place, push his staff arm in, and then push his head in and tail before putting him down to the base. And then we've got our Plague Censer Bearer. So we push the back of his skirt on, the back of his hood on, and then push his head in place before he goes pushed down. And then we got our little Plague Rat, who's just two halves pushed together before pushing down to his base. So yeah, they do look really fantastic models. Can't wait to build and paint these guys. Alright then, let's take a look through the Rivals deck and see what new cool cards we have for Underworlds. Right, I started opening the pack off camera, so there we go, just rip the plastic off. I would have preferred it if they had the paper wraps that I've seen in some other sets, but it is what it is. I'll zoom out a little bit because I was a bit too close there. So we've got the background there for the warband. So we've got Skabbiks Plaguepack Rivals deck. The diseased Skaven of Skabbiks Plaguepack plan to usher in the birth of one of the Ratmen's great plagues. Fanatical worshippers of disease from the Clans Pestilens, their foulsome quest has taken them deep into the heart of the Wyrdhollow, where they believe one of the ingredients of that great plague can be found. Should this noisome flock succeed in their task, great swathes of the mortal realms may be reduced to rancid, rotting mulch. Let their enemies beware, a sickening death awaits any who stand in the path of the children of the great corruptor. And on the back we have a little bit about their plot card and what they can do. So they have the ability to befoul the terrain that they cross over and corrupt tiles. Very nice little ability they have. Sorry about that, one of the rams rubbing his bum against the back door. Right, here we go, looking at the cards. So we got the 6 character cards. So we start with Skabbik Plague Seeker. He is a priest and befouler. He's the leader of the warband. Belongs to the sub-faction of Skaven Pestilens and the main faction of Chaos. He has a move of 4. He rolls 1 defense dice and has 4 health. His warp staff is a range 2, rolls 2 dice to attack and does 2 damage, and has Grievous on a critical. And his inspired condition is 2 or more territories are corrupted by the warband. So yeah. And we have the Befouler, which is common over all these models. So at the start of each round, stagger each enemy fighter adjacent to this fighter. There's his inspired side, so he has a change to shields instead of dodges. He has an extra attack on his warp staff and is still Grievous 1. Next we have Rabidus Skench, who's a minion and befouler. This is our Plague Sensor Bearer. Move of 4, rolls a single dice in defense requiring dodges, has 3 health. His Plague Sensor is a range 2, 2 attacks, 3 damage weapon, and his Flailing Plague Sensor, he can do a range 1 attack, 2 attacks, 2 damage, and scything. So he's a befouler and he is inspired condition, same as Skabbik. Then his inspired side, he just goes up to extra attacks on the Flailing Plague Sensor there. Yes. Next up we have Itchit, who is the bringer of the word, or the book, and the Plague Sensor. So he has a Plague Burner as his weapon, movement for 1 defense dodge and 3 health. So his Plague Burner is a range 1, 2 attacks, 1 damage. He's Befouler and he also has the Book of Woe. So roll a magic dice for each enemy fighter in the same territory as this fighter. On a roll of a swirl, deal 1 damage to that fighter. So yeah, he can pop out a plague to infect the others. Then on to his inspired side, the Book of Woe action now requires rolls of lightning to deal damage to a fighter, and his Plague Burner goes up to damage 2. Now we have Poxlix, the Plague Monk with 2 swords. So movement 4, dodge single dice, 2 health. His blades are range 1, 3 attacks, 1 damage, and Grievous 1. And his inspiring condition is same as everyone else's, 2 or more territories corrupted. Then we have Poxlix inspired side. He rolls the shields instead of dodges for his defense, and he gets 4 attacks on his Foetid blades. And we have Ricket, the Plague Monk with Stave. So Woe Stave and Foated Blade. He's the same as Poxlix, so movement for single dice with dodge and 2 health. Woe Stave and Foated Blade is range 2, 2 attacks, 1 damage, and grievous on a critical. And then he gets an extra damage and changes his dodge to shields on his inspired side. And finally we have Skritter, who is a little pox rat there. He's the quickest guy, he moves 5, rolls a single dice but only has a single health. He has the Infected Bite, range 1, 2 attacks, 1 damage. He is a companion beast. And yeah, he is worthless, poor little guy. If this fighter would be taken out of action, remove it from the battlefield and clear all counters and persisting effects on this fighter. It is not taken out of action. So yeah, basically he just disappears. And on his inspired side, if he does get a chance to inspire, he rolls a little bit better on the defense. Yeah, he still considers being... He's still worthless, even though he's inspired and he's done obviously some good. Yeah, pretty cool characters nonetheless. So we've got our objective cards next. So a Leader's Privilege. Dual condition card, so score at the end phase if 2 or more friendly minions are within 2 hexes of a friendly leader, and those minions are in no one's or enemy territory. We have a Befouler objective for 1 glory. Surge, score immediately after an enemy fighter is taken out of action by damage caused by a Befouler. Blessed by Corruption, score this immediately after an opponent's activation step if a friendly minion is on an objective marker in enemy territory for 1 glory. Bringers of Ruination, score in the end phase if 3 or more territories are corrupted for 3 glory, so if you manage to infect the entire battlefield. Corrupting the Land, score in the end phase if no one's and or enemy territories are corrupted by your warband for 1 glory. Infected Corpse Pile, so dual, score this in the end phase if 2 or more territories are corrupted and 2 or more enemy fighters are out of action for 2 glory. Rabid Harbingers, so a surge and dual, so score immediately after an opponent's activation step if your warband holds 2 or more objectives and 1 or more friendly Befoulers are on an objective token in your territory, single glory. Reckless Fanatics, so score at the end phase if there are 2 or more friendly fighters adjacent to the same enemy fighter, and 1 or more of those friendly fighters are a Befouler. And seeing as most of them in this warband are, it's going to be fairly easy to score a lot of our objectives. So score this Ruinous Supremacy in the end phase if your warband holds more objectives than there are surviving enemy fighters. So yeah, making use of our numbers there to gain as many objectives as possible and making sure there are more objectives claimed than enemy fighters still alive. So against low model warbands, pretty good one, easy to score. 3 glory there as well. Next we have the Scuttling Horde Surge objective. Score this immediately after your warband's 3rd or successive move action made in the same phase. So if you get yourself moving pretty quickly, you can get yourself glory. And Skaven are pretty quick and easy to maneuver anyway. And we have Spreading Filth. So surge and dual, score immediately after an opponent's activation step if there are 1 or more friendly fighters in 2 or more territories and 1 or more enemy fighters are out of action. And finally we have Useful Distraction. Surge and Hybrid, score immediately after an activation step in which a friendly minion was supporting an enemy fighter, or a surviving friendly minion was the target of an attack action. We see our poor little plague rat been trodden on. Probably by a mean old Stormcast or an Orc. Then we have our Gambits, so first attack roll made by a friendly fighter, next activation has an innate support. Festering Sneak, choose a friendly minion, push it 2 hexes. After that push, that minion must be adjacent to one or more enemy fighters and or a friendly leader. Feverish Flailing, reroll 1 dice, the attack roll, the first attack action made by a friendly fighter next activation. Manifestation of Great Plague, choose a friendly priest and roll a magic dice. On a lightning or critical, the territory the chosen priest is in is corrupted. Move, choose a friendly minion, the chosen minion makes a move action. Overpowering Odors, reaction, so play this card during the friendly fighter's range 1 or range 2 attack action. After defense roll, if that attack action would fail and there were 1 or more successes in the attack roll, add 1 to the number of successes rolled by the attacker. Choose a friendly minion. The chosen minion's range 1 and 2 attacks have critical grievous 1. In addition, if the chosen minion is a befouler, he becomes a befouler, and this effect persists until the end of the round or until that minion is taken out of action. So, Pestilent Blessings. Rancid Vomit, roll a magic dice on a swirl, choose an enemy fighter adjacent to 1 or more enemy befoulers and deal 2 damage. Nice. Unctuous Citations, choose a friendly leader and minion and push each of those 1 hex. Vile Blood, reaction, play this during an enemy fighter's range 1 or range 2 attack action. After the deal damage step, if that target would be taken out of action, -1 damage to a minimum of 1 for that enemy fighter's range 1 and range 2 attacks. This effect persists until the enemy fighter is taken out of action or makes a successful range 1 or 2 attack action. Then we're on to our upgrades. So we got Bursting Sores, reaction. Use this after an activation step. If a fighter was dealt damage in a preceding activation, choose an enemy fighter within 2 hexes and deal 1 damage to them. Disgusting Appearance, +1 defense. Glorious Sacrifice, when this fighter is taken out of action, if the territory they are in is not corrupted by your warband, that territory is corrupted. Otherwise, gain 1 glory point and break this card. Noxious Vapors, deal 1 damage to each enemy fighter adjacent to the fighter at the end of the action phase. Pox-ridden Lucidity, this is for Rabidus, Pox, Licks, and Ricket only. Reaction, use this fighter after this fighter's first successful range 1 or 2 attack action in a round, then pick 1, either draw a power card or draw an objective card, then place 1 objective card at the bottom of your deck. Rotted Flesh, you cannot give this to a large fighter. So 1 damage to a minimum of 1 for enemy fighters' attack actions that target this fighter while the fighter is in territory corrupted by your warband. Screaming Lunatic, +1 damage to this fighter's range 1 and 2 attack actions, while this fighter has 1 or more charge tokens and or 1 or more wound counters. Unbelievable Stench, enemy fighters in the same territory as this fighter cannot be on guard. So reaction, use this after the fighter's activation, stagger each adjacent enemy fighter. Vile Fanaticism, +1 dice to this fighter's range 1 and range 2 attack actions other than scything attack actions. And then finally we have Voice of the Great Corruptor, exclusive to Itchit. This fighter is a priest. If 1 or more friendly leaders are out of action, this fighter is a leader. Action, the territory this card is in is corrupted. Yeah, pretty cool. Got nice little cool little quotes on these cards as well, including little Skaven ones. Hit hard, die fast. I am the voice of the great corruptor. Listen, obey to me, worthless minions. Me! I just love Skaven, they're so kooky. But there we have it. That is the Rivals deck for Skabbiks Plaguepack. Let's bring everything in, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this warband. So there we have it. That is the unboxing and review of the Skabbiks Plaguepack warband expansion for Warhammer Underworlds Wyrdhollow. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section down below. Have you picked up this warband yourself? If so, have you had much experience and success with it in games? Let me know. I'm going to definitely be trying these guys out once I get around to building all my other Wyrdhollow stuff. I've got a lot in my backlog to do. So I'm not exactly short on Underworld stuff at the moment. Yeah, this warband is pretty cool. £26. I paid for this at my local British Troll Hobbies, little local gaming store. But yeah, pretty good value for money either way. It's nice to see some updated Plague Monk sculpts. We have definitely been expecting these for quite some time now, and it's nice to see these guys. It's a little annoying, it's only in Underworlds, but hopefully this does prove that there will be ones coming soon for Age of Sigmar. But I can easily see a lot of people picking up multiples of this set just to build up a nice unit out of it. You need 5 sets. It's a lot of money for just one unit of 10 guys. But yeah, either way, these character models are fantastic and will look great inside any other Pestilens, warbands and armies for Age of Sigmar. So yeah, like I said, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I think for me this is a solid 5 out of 5, definitely well worth picking up if you are a Skaven fan. So that's it for this video. I'd like to say thank you all for watching. If you think I deserve it, please give this video a like, and if you want to, drop a comment down below, and I will see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye. Thank you, and goodbye.